convicted.
Even if he's convicted, all he'll get is 6 months.
Henry was tried and convicted of the federal crime of mail robbery.
Was tried, convicted, and sentenced to...
reason you think I'll be convicted.
Carved in open work by convicts in the West Indies.
We got a convicted finger blast.
Watch condemned men beg for their lives.
Convicted Hoyt of second-degree murder.
Nothing. Unless he's convicted.
Anything about him. Some of them are convicted criminals.
Can easily get a parole for a con.
So he convicted you, now he's got you in the box.
But you bought in, you lose out. As you are now convicted. Now over to the table and get
A man just wants to be fair, that's all. Even if he's convicted, all he'll get is 6 months.
Right, well, if he's not worried, why is he prepared...
As the town's post office. Henry was tried and convicted of the federal crime of mail robbery. Henry's sister was taken...
Of his arrest, Martin McFly Jr. was tried, convicted, and sentenced to 15 years in the state penitentiary?
I'll be released. The reason I'll be released is the same reason you think I'll be convicted. I do rub shoulders with some of the most...
This is made of pearl, carved in open work by convicts in the West Indies.
They are lovely. Oh, but it's...
Panel and view with airtight alibis. We've interviewed every neighbor in a mile radius, and we got a convicted finger blaster who just happened to cut off his ankle bracelet.
Take it easy.
No.
You hear me?
I've already talked to the lawyer. He said even if you don't get convicted, I've got a good chance of getting
I got news for you. You're not fucking taking...
witness executions. I watched condemned men beg for their lives.
I watched the swarms of flies feasting on...
While he was dying, a jury convicted Hoyt of second-degree murder. And that's where our story begins. A great civil...
What's gonna happen to Bill?
nothing. Unless he's convicted. Of course, if he is.
Of course, I haven't slept a wink all week.
You don't know anything about him. Some of them are convicted criminals.
Bill was in the Russian Air Force and he cries at night.
There's a man with political influence. A man who can easily get a parole for a convict. Why should he?
New York City. Convicted of extortion. Members of New York City investigations narcotics.
For that now, can you? And you wouldn't tell him. So he convicted you, now he's got you in the box, and somebody from a different district calls up and says,
Gordon Stewart Northcott, you have been convicted of murder, the penalty for which is death by hanging.
Instead of using convicts, I believe we could do better.
Donkeys, but their pay would break us, and convicts are dirt cheap, and if we just give Gallagher a free hand, he could...
Free hand? You...
Until she said it was me.
Interesting you didn't say you were innocent.
I had nothing to do with the death.
No, I don't. I know you were convicted. I know you were convicted by a jury. You were tried and convicted.
What consequences? You might have started a riot.
Even a convict's got a right to breathe.
Rights? I don't think you know the meaning of the word.
God, now you got your job. I have not. Do you really think a jury of my peers in New York City will convict me?
I'm just a handcuffs guy.
We need your help. We have convicted a dangerous criminal.
So, execute him.
Differences between men. I walk amongst these convicts, these thieves and murderers, alone, unarmed.
This is short notice, but look, I need this injunction. You see, there's an ex-convict by the name of Max Cady. He's been harassing my family.
Sorry, Mr. Bowden.
You got escape convict. It's just a precaution. Have a nice trip.
Okay, thanks.
We're in negotiations, that's correct.
But doesn't the son of Sam law prohibit convicted criminals from profiting from their crimes?
Doesn't apply to me.
The snow, the convict, the birthday.
So sick. This fellow had rights about it. He was tried, convicted of murder, sentenced all the same day, the same as me. Then the Supreme...
It's all my fault.
Oh, bullshit. You didn't pull the trigger, and you certainly didn't convict him.
Well, you saying that Andy is innocent.
It's better than going to jail for heresy.
Oh, they can't convict us of heresy. You've helped prove our innocence. Besides, his culture?
The fool. Clouseau? Of course. If Maria Gambrelli is convicted, Bono is up to his ears in a very nasty scandal, and Clouseau was his insurance policy against it.
But somebody has to swing. So indict, try, and convict Richard Stensland and Bud White. Secure them jail time. The message will be
worth fighting. We can't live without it. And hiding here, shivering like convicts, when we've a just case to present to the courts, is just...
He's a shoplifter. He's a convicted shoplifter.
It's murder one. I'm with the DA's office. Jury will convict you in 5 seconds. You'll spend the next 50 years in a jail cell with some guy who wants to play cops and rob.
An acknowledged expert in the field of insurance fraud.
This man is an interested party. If my clients were to be convicted, his company, Pacific Reliance, stands to save
Mr. Katz.
10,000.
4 convicts made a daring escape from Portobello prison last night. The prisoners all appear to have vanished without a trace.
But if it means anything to you, you have the respect of at least one of the men you convicted. By all that is right in this world.
The whole damn city got a for rent sign on it.
Have you ever been convicted of a felony? If so, what is the nature of your crime?
Well, whose fault?
Or a small child he has to protect. Bill would usually make the good wrestler a backwards type or a convict. And sometimes instead of a...
Get my brother out. Now.
Your brother is a convicted felon, Mitch.
And get yourself another snitch.
Down along the inside is...
They'll have diminished ability to defense due to the chemo. If we can gain sympathy from the jury, they'll never convict you.
Wait, hold on.
Native son, public servant for...
Do you accept that any diversion from your mission parameters will result in the immediate court-martial? And if convicted, death by lethal injection? I do.
Oh, have we enough crime in this division for you, Brady?
He was a convicted homosexual, sir.
I see.
There might be a time.
We finally had him. Now we had to convict. But unlike trials of the past, we now had forensics, expert witnesses.
8,000 people worked at Auschwitz. Precisely 19 have been convicted and only 6 for murder. To prove murder, you have to prove in...
Tax-free. We can't conceal that you were a trainee. You'll be convicted of a crime. We're thinking a guilty plea to assault and battery.
No jury would convict me, John, believe me. I believe you.
Hupp was released by the Liberation Army.
Can you walk?
He later got convicted for helping the Germans. A 500 guilder fine. Conditional.
What, invite another massacre? No way.
We've got a 60-year-old convict and a lab rat. I'm telling you, it's over.
Not for Mason, it isn't.
See this? This is a charger. It's used by convicts to hide money and drugs. They stick it in their body, they tuck it up their rectum.
It'll be short because I don't know anything at all that can help
You
them.
don't know anything that can help them convict the Russians, but you know things that can help them.
Did you know that 97%...
Even if these 4 guys get convicted, they're not going to do any real time. They're going to be out of the stockade before you can flick fly.
Jeez.
You shouldn't have come, Nan. What'll Miss Craig think of consorting with an ex-convict during the library's time?
Say 15, I'll catch the next number 7 and she'll never know.
To order your immediate release. Until such time you remain in the eyes of the ministry a convicted Death Eater. Do you accept these terms?
I do, sir. He put Jesse on trial, and he was convicted by an all-white jury after they deliberated for only...
44 years old, born in Manchester, England. She was convicted of triple murder in 2004. She locked her 3 children in the closet.
No one was keen to see her convicted. He was that kind of husband.
Utes, winos, tramps. Convicts, maybe, as long as they aren't psychos. If you want to look for possibles.
You do, and without that revenue, we'll be forced to sell. If the government wins and we're convicted, the Washington Post as we know it will cease to exist.